Hello and welcome to this new video where we're today going to talk about basically kind of like the end of Pacific playoffs and America's playoffs. We're going to go through EMEA when EMEA is finished after this week, but pretty much I'm just going to go through what has happened since the last video I did on this. I'm pretty sure, if I don't remember wrong, we ended off at around this point. The video was made around 10 days ago, which would be around the day where these games happened. Now let's just go through each game and talk about them real quick. Obviously there were some pretty big upsets last week. Let's just say they didn't stop this week. But first off, we go to a game that wasn't really that big of an upset. I do think I hoped Nongshim would win this game, and I did have Nongshim in my pick'ems winning this game. I just think a bit, you could say, the fucking talent curse happened, and Nongshim just got caught on the wrong side of it for the third time or something this year. But also I do think like it was a pretty close game where it could have gone either way, but I think Talon just had the stronger map veto, and that's sort of what won them this game. Now, the PaperX T1 game, oh my god, the train is here, bro. The train is here, and it went pretty far. Let's just say that much, and this was a fucking ridiculous game. I mean, not having a map where both teams gets above 4 rounds is pretty ridiculous, and I mean, when you look at the overall stats, I mean, 2 aces, 3 4Ks, a bunch of clutches. Like, this game was just insane. And yeah, PaperX are back. Let's say that much. Now, going into DRX Talon, this is not much of a surprise. Obviously, the pattern continues with Talon. And I think either way, like, this game was probably going to be lost either way. I mean, they kept up a good fight on Fracture, which was pretty surprising, to be honest, but especially after their own map pick on Icebox went so to shit. I was a bit surprised when they kept up a pretty good fight on Fracture. But overall, I do think DRX looked about as good as I thought this game. Maybe some concerns with the second map, but overall, I do still think DRX and Talon looked about as good as I would have expected. Now going into PaperX Boom, and Boom are just absolutely in shambles, man. I mean, 13-5, 13-8 is just... It's sad to see, man. I mean, I wanted Boom to go far, and if you look at my pick'ems, actually, I don't think... Did I have them? Yeah, I had them continuing just to not lose, and then in the Grands finally losing. But yeah, I wanted this team to make it. Now, they just kind of fell off a cliff in playoffs, and it's really sad. But yeah, there's not really much more I can say about that game. Now going into the upper final, we had Gen G versus RQ, where let's just say texture came out to play and came out and to show who the better duelist was, and let's just say he kind of rolled them, and it wasn't really that close. Now, going into this PaperX DRX game, it honestly felt kind of like an off day for DRX. Like, DRX didn't look terrible, but there's just some players that just felt like they just didn't feel ready for PaperX's playstyle, which is just so odd because this DRX team feel like the perfect counter for this DRX's playstyle. So it's just so odd to me personally, but I mean, they have struggled with them in the past, I guess, but yeah, it's just odd. It's just odd to me. DRX did look pretty poor though. Now going into this game, I mean RRQ, they're looking so good, man. I mean, PaperX, this train was rolling, and how do you stop that train? Well, you bring out a Gemkin and barely still manage to beat them, as pretty much every single map, Paper X either absolutely rolled them or it was close, except for Ascent, the final map. But I don't know. It just felt like at that point, Paper X was kind of ran out of steam. I mean, they got what after getting 3 on defense, it's really difficult to come back, especially on Ascent. So yeah. Now going into the grand final, I mean, at this point, it was literally just the Jemkin train, and Genji couldn't really stop it. I think this is actually probably good for Genji, though. I know that's kind of cope, but I do think losing this game is going to be healthy for them because they have looked like they're back in form. So having a bit of a wake up call showing, oh yeah, you can lose. Like you can still lose, you know? Because they had obviously like before this, they had gone completely lossless in terms of maps, and just waking up and them slapping them in the face and being like, oh yeah. Like even after winning the first map, you're like, oh shit, we're pretty confident now. Like Genji are like, oh shit, oh shit. And then RRQ goes up 10-2 on the next map. And you almost managed to come back. So you're still like, okay, we're still definitely in this. And then you get a 7-5 defense off a Lotus, and then just completely fall apart on an attack. And then yeah, it's just 3 close maps, and RRQ wins them, and that's the difference. And yeah, I mean, I feel like Genji overall in this tournament was still the better team. I do think Genji is probably my like if I was to predict one team from this region to win Toronto, I would pick Genji. Is basically my argument. Now, could I see both PaperX and RRQ winning it? Actually, yeah. I do think there's 3 teams from APAC here that actually all I could see winning the event. Now, do I think it's likely? No. I think both RRQ and PaperX are like extreme dark horses, and then Genji is like one of the favorites. But overall, I could still see both RRQ and PaperX going on a run and actually winning it. So I think RRQ just has that little bit of experience gap where they don't really have it there. For me to see them winning the event, but I could see them going far and definitely being like a dark horse. Now going into Americas, there's a couple less games here as they did play out week 1 with both lower round 1 and 2 as well. So there's only 4 games to talk about here, but I'm probably going to talk about these a bit more in depth as I feel like this is what most people come for when they watch these videos, as there's a lot more fans for Americas. Now, starting off, we have MIBR Sentinels, and honestly, like, Sentinels just looked insane. Like, Sentinels are just looking insane so far, and this game really proved it to me. Like, I feel like this game sort of proved that it wasn't just G2 sort of faltering a bit in playoffs. It was actually Sentinels just looking incredibly good. Like, Center looking incredible. Genuinely incredible. Now, going into G2, I mean, yeah, after last week, I was a bit worried, but I trusted the coaching staff that they would come out and look better. Now, against EG, I did say they probably win this game either way, but they still need to come in and be locked in. And I feel like this game was sort of proving like, okay, if you can do a quick 2-0, I got all my confidence back in you. If this is like a close game where you win still, it's a bit shaky, but I could still see it. And then you could still lose this game if you are still looking like if they looked like they did last week, I think they would probably have lost this game. And I think they looked better. It was a bit concerning after the first Lotus, right? They go up they go up what 8-4 on defense, and then just completely crumble against the Yay Clove. Um, and it's just it's worrying. Let's say that much. But of course, then split happens. They go up 8-4 in the first half. This is the map they feel more comfortable on. You clearly see that. They won 13-7. And then you go to Pearl, and it's like they really pulled out some miracles to win this map. Like, genuinely some insane miracles. And was lucky to go through. But they did. And what I feel like happened after that was it was like a weight lifted off their shoulders. I think all of G2 sort of got a big wake up call when Sen beat them, being like, "Oh yeah, we are not as invulnerable as we thought." And then knowing that literally losing one game and we're out now, it felt like the pressure just kind of got to them and they just didn't play to their level. But the second they did make Toronto, it felt like a weight just got lifted off their shoulder. Like, I still remember that clip where you just see Valen literally crying that they made Toronto. Like, they felt so pressured. Like, you could see, like, not only did you see it like in their behavior, like in game, you also saw after that game, like, holy shit, these guys were actually like, they wanted this so bad. So not only did they have the pressure from the people that they were the best and should be beating everybody, but it also felt like they had like pressure on they pressured themselves because they really wanted this. I feel like not only for Jonah, obviously, because he's from Canada, but also like as a team, I felt like after losing that grand final in such a disastrous way, right? Losing 2 maps in OT, getting all basically almost reversed swept, although there was one map in between, obviously, and then but basically losing out 2 OTs in a row to lose their first international trophy, people doubting them looking insane still, and then going into playoffs and then losing your first game right at the finish line for making Toronto, and then just being able to prove that we can still make it, I feel like was such a big weight lifted off their shoulders, and you could see that here. Like, and like, because like even though they lost map one, like they did not look that pressured about it at this point. Like, they didn't look that shaky after this map. Like, sure, this map wasn't amazing, but like it's still like G2 are not gonna be like so dominant that they'll beat every single team every single map. Like, they won't be a Fnatic Tokyo. Although that's pretty much what people expect from them. Like, I don't think anybody would think coming into this event that G2 was going to be that. Although some people might have those expectations on them. I don't think they or anyone with a reasonable mind would have those expectations, right? They can lose maps. Like, this is MIBR's like strongest map pretty much. And they lost it pretty close, 13-10, you know? And then they go into Lotus. It's really close. Aspas drop like a 30 bomb, goes absolutely crazy. But they still look a lot more comfortable. Then we go to Split. Obviously, they win 13-10 and then 13-8 on the final map. And they just honestly look more and more comfortable with every single map they play. And it just looks like they're having more and more fun out there on the stage. And I mean, coming into the grand finals, I was still having G2 winning this just because although Sen had looked so good, G2 looked like, at least at the end of that game, like they were actually like having genuinely like super fun again, and they looked like they looked like the G2 that we know and love, you know? So coming into this game, I was pretty confident in G2. And I mean, coming into the first map, winning 13-9 on the map that not only Sen picked, but they lost to MIBR yesterday. and then going to win split after that. Then obviously losing Pearl, but then almost coming back on it. So you still felt pretty nice. And then they come out on Ascent, and it's like a map where they struggled last time. They got gigantied on the waylay. And I mean, and immediately Jogamo looks so much better. Although his first bloods didn't look that great, it felt like they had made adjustments that really worked. And that just ends up winning them this series. And I mean, I still have personally G2 as my favorites coming into this international. Now I know it's kind of boring having the same favorites for the first two international events, and then I mean it was the second place team last event. Like it's a bit boring, but I mean, what can you do? I mean, they're just so good, and it's just like watching this team. It's just a pleasure to watch them as well, because like the Valorant they're playing is just incredible, and I mean, Transform currently is just absolutely ridiculous. Same with Leaf. I mean, I made a video on Leaf earlier before Bangkok saying how he was like the modern day El Diablo with all the chamber they were playing and everything back then. I mean, honestly, he is looking still to that sort of level. I mean, obviously, it's not as easy to compare it to the modern day El Diablo now, but he's still looking incredible. And I mean, with with Valen in looking just as good as always, and sure, maybe you could say that Jonah and Jogamo hasn't been as great. I feel like Jogamo and is such a like big time player. Like he didn't look great in kickoff either, and then he came into Masters of Bangkok and honestly looked like one of the like best players at that tournament. And then obviously Jonah as well. I mean Jonah. Once again, I'm pretty. Yeah, he didn't have the greatest Bangkok, but he has never really been like the super like insane fragging player on this team. But like this is the chance where I feel like he could be just because he is at home, he is in Toronto. So that's why I believe in this G2 team so much, and I just think they're gonna be so good coming into this event. So yeah. But yeah, that was this video, really. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you did. Comment if I missed something. I don't know. Maybe I missed a game that I didn't do in my earlier videos. I don't know. Or just comment whatever you feel like. I mean, any sort of extra like interactions you guys make with the videos is just positive. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed. As I said, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.